Every time you sit down for a meal, your baby's eyes find you. Not the food, not the spoon. You. Those wide, unblinking eyes locked on your face like you're the most fascinating thing in the universe. And you've probably laughed it off, thought it was cute, maybe even felt a little uncomfortable under that intense, wordless gaze. But what if that stare isn't random? What if every time your baby watches you eat, something profound is happening inside that tiny mind? Something most parents will never stop to consider. Welcome to Silent Baby Mind. Subscribe right now, because what you're about to learn today will permanently change the way you look at your child. By the end of this video, number 1 will completely reshape how you feel about every meal you share in the same room as your baby. This isn't about hunger. It isn't about wanting a bite of your food. It's about 7 very specific things happening in your baby's developing brain, things that scientists have only recently begun to understand, and things that most parents will go their entire lives never knowing. Let's start with number 7. Number 7. Yes, part of it really is about the food, but not in the way you think. Let's be honest and start with the obvious, because it's true, but it only scratches the surface. When your baby watches you eat, some of what's happening is biological curiosity about food itself. Babies are born as pure learning machines. From the very first weeks of life, their brains are absorbing every signal the world sends them, and one of the most powerful signals is watching another human being consume something. Developmental researchers call this observational feeding. Long before a baby can eat solids, they are studying the mechanics of eating. They watch your jaw move. They watch you lift the spoon. They watch you chew and swallow. They are building an internal library of what eating looks like, how it works, and what it means, so that when their turn comes, they already have a rough blueprint. Here's what most parents miss entirely. The baby isn't just learning the mechanics, they're learning the emotional texture of eating. They're watching to see whether you enjoy it, whether it's safe, whether it's something worth wanting. Your reaction to food is their guide. If you eat with pleasure, they associate food with pleasure. If you eat with stress, they absorb that too. The way you feel at the table is literally shaping your baby's relationship with food before they've taken a single bite. And if you think that's surprising, wait until you hear number 6, because it has almost nothing to do with food and everything to do with something your baby is desperately searching for every single day. Number 6. Mealtime is the one moment in the day your baby can always count on finding you still. Think about what your baby's experience of you looks like across an average day. You appear, you disappear. You pick them up, you put them down, you walk out of the room, you come back. You are, from your baby's point of view, a presence that comes and goes in ways they cannot predict or control, except at mealtime. When you sit down to eat, something shifts. You stop moving. You settle into one place. You stay there for 20, maybe 30 minutes without getting up and walking away. For a baby whose entire emotional world is organized around your proximity, this is extraordinary. Mealtime is the most predictable appointment in their day. It is the moment they know, on some pre-verbal instinctive level, that you will be reachable, that you won't vanish, that they can watch you without losing you. This is why so many babies become particularly alert and engaged the moment a parent sits down to eat, even if they've been drowsy or distracted just moments before. They're not reacting to the smell of the food. They're reacting to your stillness, and for a baby, your stillness is one of the most comforting things in the world. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. Number 5 is something you do every single day without realizing it, and your baby has been studying it more carefully than you could ever imagine. Number 5. It's not your food they're watching, it's your face. Here is something remarkable that most parents have never been told. When you eat, your face does something it rarely does during the rest of the day. It relaxes. The tension you carry through work, through errands, through the mental load of managing a household and a baby, it softens at the table. Your jaw loosens, your eyes calm. The small, involuntary smile that crosses your face when you taste something good that's real, and your baby sees it. Babies are extraordinary readers of human facial expressions. Research from developmental psychology has consistently shown that infants as young as a few months old can distinguish between happy, sad, angry, and neutral faces with remarkable accuracy. They are running a constant unconscious analysis of your emotional state because your emotional state is their weather forecast. It tells them whether the world is safe or dangerous, calm or threatening. The face you wear at dinner is one of the most positive versions of your face that your baby regularly gets to see. It's the face of a parent who is, for a few minutes, off duty. Content, present without agenda. When your baby stares at you across the room while you eat, part of what they're drinking in is that version of you. The unhurried you, the at-rest you, and they find it, on some deep neurological level, deeply reassuring. Now, keep watching, because number 4 reveals something happening inside your baby's nervous system during mealtimes that most pediatricians never even mention to parents. Number 4, they are calibrating their sense of safety. This one goes deeper than most parents are prepared to expect. Human infants, like all social mammals, are wired from birth to read the group for signs of danger or security. In the earliest stages of human history, a baby who could accurately read the emotional state of its caregivers had a survival advantage. A calm caregiver meant safety. A tense or frightened caregiver meant threat. That wiring hasn't changed. When your baby watches you eat, a part of their developing nervous system is running a background check on the environment. Is the primary caregiver calm? Yes. Is the primary caregiver eating, which signals there is no immediate threat requiring flight or fight? Yes. Is the world right now safe enough to relax into? Yes. This is one of the reasons why babies who eat in the same room as a calm, relaxed parent tend to be calmer themselves during that time. It isn't coincidence. Your regulated nervous system is actively co-regulating theirs. When you sit down peacefully and eat, you are sending a signal that radiates outward and lands directly in your baby's body. You are telling them, without a single word, that everything is okay, and they believe you completely and without question, because to them, you are the authority on what is real. And that leads us directly into number 3, which is the one that tends to make parents put down their phones and really stop to think. Number 3, they are studying you to figure out who they are going to be. This is the one that tends to stop parents in their tracks when they hear it for the first time. Your baby is not just watching you eat, they are watching you live. And in watching you live, they are building the earliest foundations of their own identity. Developmental psychologists call this process social referencing. From very early in life, babies use the reactions and behaviors of their caregivers as a reference point for how to interpret the world and eventually how to act within it. Your baby is asking, with those steady eyes, a question that has no words yet. What does it mean to be a person? What does a person do with their hands? What expression does a person make when they taste something? What sounds does a person make at the table? What is the rhythm of this ritual? They are not passive observers. They are active learners, and you are their primary curriculum. Every meal you eat in their presence is a lesson in humanity, in what it looks and sounds and feels like to be the kind of person you are. The table manners, the conversation, the laughter, the small complaints about the day. All of it is being recorded, processed, and slowly integrated into the person your child is in the process of becoming. You are not just feeding yourself, you are modeling what life looks like. And if that feels like a big responsibility, number two is going to reframe it in a way that feels less like pressure and more like a gift. Because what your baby is really doing at mealtime is something far more beautiful than most parents ever realize. Number two, they are learning what love feels like through the ritual of being together. One of the most significant things developmental science has taught us in the last several decades is that the emotional architecture of a human being is built not through grand gestures, but through repetition, through the small daily rituals that happen again and again until they become the invisible structure of a life. For your baby, mealtime is one of those foundational rituals, not because of the food, because of the togetherness. When you eat in the same room as your baby, when you look up and catch their eye, when you smile at them mid-bite or narrate what you're eating in a warm, silly voice, you are participating in the construction of their emotional baseline. You are teaching them what it feels like to be included, to be part of something, to be in the presence of someone who is glad they exist. Researchers who study infant attachment have found that babies who are consistently present during calm, connected family mealtimes, even before they can eat solid food themselves, show stronger early signs of secure attachment than babies who spend that time alone in another room. The meal is the container, but love is what fills it. And your baby is there, at the edges of every dinner, absorbing that love through the simple, quiet act of being in the room with you. And now we've arrived. This is the one I've been building toward. Number one is the reason that changes everything. The reason that will make you see every single mealtime for the rest of your life completely differently. Number one, every time your baby watches you eat, they are asking you a question. Here is what it all comes down to. The staring, the tracking, the alertness, the way your baby's whole body orients toward you the moment you sit down with a plate, it is all at its most fundamental level, a question. A question that your baby has been asking you since the moment they arrived, in every way their limited but extraordinary toolkit allows. The question is this: am I safe here? Am I wanted here? Does the person I depend on entirely still see me? In the early months of life, a baby's sense of self is not yet separate from the caregiver. They do not yet fully experience themselves as a distinct individual. They experience themselves as part of a relationship, which means the health of that relationship is not just emotionally important to them. It is existentially important. It is the ground they stand on. When your baby watches you eat, they are watching the most important person in their world engage in an act of survival, and they are checking constantly, quietly, whether they are still woven into that world. Whether you still pause to look at them, whether your face still softens when your eyes meet theirs, whether the bond is still there, still warm, still real. And here is the extraordinary part. Every time you look up from your plate and meet their eyes, you answer that question. Every time you smile at them across the room, you answer it. Every time you narrate your meal to them in that warm, gentle voice, you're not being silly. You are answering the most important question they know how to ask. You are saying, yes, I see you. Yes, you're here. Yes, you are mine and I am yours. And that is not going to change. You are building, one glance at a time, one smile at a time, the secure foundation that your child will carry inside them for the rest of their life. The research on secure attachment is unambiguous on this point. Children who develop a secure attachment in infancy, the kind built through thousands of small, responsive moments exactly like this one, go on to have better emotional regulation, stronger relationships, greater resilience in the face of adversity, and a more stable sense of self throughout their entire lives. All of it starts in moments you might not even notice you're having. a look across the dinner table, a smile between bites. The simple act of being present in the same room at the same time, doing the most ordinary thing in the world. So the next time you sit down to eat and you feel those wide eyes find you from across the room, don't look away. Don't feel watched. Feel seen. Because that is what your baby is offering you. They are giving you their full, undivided, completely unconditional attention. They are choosing you in that moment over everything else in the world, not because you have something they want, but because you are everything they have. And every time you choose them back, every time you meet their gaze and let your face go warm and soft and open, you are doing something that no toy, no screen, no carefully chosen developmental tool can replicate. You are telling them, in the only language that goes deep enough to matter, that they are loved, that they are safe, that they belong, and that you are not going anywhere. That is what is happening at your dinner table. That is what those eyes are really saying. And now that you know, you'll never look at mealtime the same way again. If this video moved you, if it made you see your baby differently even for a second, hit that like button right now. It takes 1 second and it helps this message reach more parents who need to hear it. Subscribe to Silent Baby Mind if you haven't already, because every week we go deeper into the silent conversations happening between you and your child, the ones nobody talks about, but everyone needs to understand. And leave a comment below telling us, does your baby watch you while you eat? What does that moment feel like for you? We read every single comment. See you in the next video.